To be successful in the challenge, you need a good social game, strategy, to win daily challenges, to perform under the pressure of eliminations, and to be able to make the right moves at the right time. If any of those things go wrong, then your game can be cut short. Now, there have been times when one of these attributes can overcompensate for a weakness in another, but there's one win to me that sticks out over all the rest at hitting all of these marks, where I consider it the most complete win in the challenge's history. Now, instead of starting from the beginning, I think it would be better to start towards the end. There are 4 pairs left, and I think diving into each of their journeys on how they got here will help give context to this season. Jay and Jenna being here is impressive, given that this is their debut season. They came in as a part of a rookie squad featuring the first ever Are You the One contestants to appear on the challenge. The other rookies drew focus from the veterans as Jay and Jenna evaded their radar. On top of that, the two each got involved with Zach and John A, giving them a little insulation the other rookies didn't have. The improbable happened when Jay and Jenna somehow won this season's trivia challenge called Are You the One?
Is that a guess?
That was half a guess, yes.
Nice work.
They used their power couple status to leverage deals and try to set themselves up to make the final. However, their game was in jeopardy when the team they sent into elimination, Leroy and Nia, won the next episode's daily challenge, and they were looking for revenge. Leroy and Nia had one of the toughest paths getting to the final 4. In the beginning, they came in with numbers feeling they could trust Bananas and Nani, while Nia was hoping to lean on her real-world Portland alumni. The game took a turn in episode 5 when they came in last place and they were sent directly into the elimination. Wes and Teresa felt this was the perfect time to strike by sending in Leroy's closest allies against him. A little later on, more of their numbers would chip away when Jay and Jenna sent them in against Johnny and Avery. They hoped their momentum was turning around when they won into power in the Speed Dating Daily Challenge. Initially, they were ready to throw in Jay and Jenna, but instead decided to send in Zach and John A, mainly in part to Wes. During the power couple dinner, Leroy showed interest in becoming Wes's number 1, but was told he needed to take out Zach for that spot to become available.
Yes, good job, ladies.
Unfortunately, Leroy and Nia would soon face off against their new number 1s in the very next episode. After winning 3 eliminations, Leroy and Nia were now about to see their 4th after coming in last place in the Don't Let Me Down Daily Challenge. Bananas and Nani had the most unconventional way of getting to the final 4. You may remember when I talked about them facing off against Leroy and Nia in episode 5. This particular season of the challenge employed the twist of a redemption house called Battle of the Exiled. A twist where everyone who was eliminated from the game would go head to head in hopes of a chance of eventually winning back into the house. This was the first challenge season to have a twist like this, so everyone was caught off guard when in episode 9, Bananas and Nani showed back up. It was unheard of at this time in the challenge that a team previously eliminated was now on the doorstep of making the final. But here they are, waiting for the final decision from Sarah and Jordan. One would assume they would send in the rookies given the shared history between Sarah and Bananas. These two go all the way back to 2009 when Sarah made her challenge debut on season 18, The Ruins. She was on the challengers team but spent most of her time on the champion side on account of a crush she had on Kenny. Johnny was always around since he was an instrumental part of what was known as the JEK Alliance. As Sarah spent time with Kenny, she was also spending time to get to know Bananas. Even when Kenny stopped doing the challenge, Sarah and Bananas seemed to be able to count on each other season in and season out. They would play on 5 more seasons with each other leading up to season 26 and would have each other's backs the best they could depending on the formats of the seasons. On Battle of the Exes 2, Sarah came in ready to work with Bananas, but also kept her options open when it came to playing with Wes. And Jordan had Avery, Johnny, and Nia from his real world season that he was willing to work with. Sarah and Jordan struggled in the first 2 daily challenges, but that all turned around starting in episode 3, where Jordan and Sarah won in On Again Off Again. While in power, they did this safe and boring thing to target the rookie Are You the One players for elimination. Sarah and Jordan would get second 3 times and third once from episodes 4 through 7. They were performing well, but not well enough to win into power. But maybe that was actually a good thing. A team can win too much, have to make too many decisions, and make too many enemies over the course of a season. What their near wins proved was it would be only a matter of time before they would get into the power couple again. So, in episode 7, when Jenna and Jay proposed an alliance to look out for one another moving forward, Sarah and Jordan agreed. The biggest adversity they faced was when they came in last place in episode 8 speed dating. After a string of top 3 finishes, they had their whole game on the line going up against Zach and John A. Once they won and were in the initial Final Four, they faced the anger of the vets when they rejected Wes's deal.
Bro, I got bad news. He doesn't want to do the insurance policy. Nah.
Now, the terms of Wes's deal were that no matter who won the next daily challenge, everyone would agree to throw in the final rookie team of Jay and Jenna. Leroy and Nia instantly said they'd honor that deal, while Sarah and Jordan rejected it on the basis that it's this late in the game, whoever wins should be able to do whatever they want. And what Sarah and Jordan wanted was to be able to send Wes and Teresa into the next elimination if possible. Wes, Teresa, Leroy, and Nia were mad, leaving Sarah and Jordan to believe they would be the next targets if they didn't win the next challenge. But what no one could count on was Bananas and Nani winning back into the game. That's something else I didn't mention at the top of this, but to also be successful in the challenge, you will also need a little bit of luck on your side. And trust me, Sarah knows a thing or two about luck. Mostly the bad kind. Twice Sarah had her game completely tanked because of her partner's unforeseen horrible behaviors. But the return of Banani was a huge turning point for them in a good way. Especially when Leroy confessed to making a deal with Johnny's nemesis Wes once he had been eliminated. The look of disappointment was clear on Bananas' face. So much so that when Sarah and Jordan won power in episode 10 and mentioned they were going to send in Leroy and Nia, Bananas and Nani stayed silent. They didn't question or try to get them to send in the rookies. No, they said, "You gotta do what you gotta do." Sarah and Jordan won the final daily challenge to lock in their spot in the final. And here we are, back to where we began. After laying out the pathways and relationships of everyone, we are at the pivotal decision. The easy choice is sending in the rookies. Help a longtime ally of 6 years or so make the final, and may the best team win. Really, the only point of friction one could see is if Sarah's partner Jordan would want to send in Johnny Bananas, as they had beef with one another stemming from the season prior. Their feud got so heated that Jordan sent himself into the elimination to take Bananas one-on-one, where Jordan lost. In a turn of events though, earlier in season 26, Jordan told Sarah he wanted Bananas in the final.
I want Bananas in the final.
So coming into this decision, it should be settled, right?
No.
Yes.
Right?
So the team I want to pick, unfortunately, is Bananas and Nani.
This to me is the gutsiest, well-timed, game-winning move in the challenge's history. But what is some more context of why Sarah would do this? Prior to season 26, Sarah had played on 8 seasons of the challenge. She made the final in her rookie season, but the champions team became too much to overcome through the entirety of the Ruins final, so she and Kellyanne came in second, or last. Sarah became a casualty in the Kenny-West rivalry in season 19 as the house voted her in to face Kenny in episode 2's Exile, where she lost. She returned to the final in season 20, but a bout of heat stroke and dehydration got her medically disqualified, dooming her team for second place. Pride came before the fall in Rivals when she highly underestimated John A being just as good, if not better on puzzles, than her. Vinny's disgusting behavior led to both him and Sarah being disqualified early in season 22. Sarah was back in the finals in a tough-fought season 23, but came in third mostly due to unprepared team members. Trishelle quitting in season 24 also forced the show to send Sarah home as well. And now Sarah, in her 9th season, is getting ready for her 4th final appearance. Knowing her history, she didn't want to leave anything up to chance. She knew going up against 3 people who had never made a final and 1 person who didn't finish the one final he was in was much better than going up against a 5-time challenge champion. Since season 16, Johnny Bananas was on one of the most dominant runs a challenger has ever been on. In the seasons he played between the island and free agents, he made 6 finals and won 5 times. His most recent win being the season prior, free agents. And Nani was also in that season's final, getting 2nd place to Laurel by a slim margin. Sarah knew that if she let Bananas and Nani walk into the final, that she and Jordan needed to play nearly perfect to win. Sarah being in her 9th season with the best partner she's ever had up to that point, she was willing to make whatever move to better her chances to win. Also, even though Sarah and Bananas have worked with each other since her 1st season, their allyship hasn't been all sunshine and happiness. For example, the two had some moments with one another when Bananas' razzing sometimes went too far.
I may or may not have hit Johnny with the water balloon.
Sarah got pea water dumped all over her.
And I just shower her in it.
Honestly, I have more and more appreciation for this move, having watched so much of the challenge before and after this moment. Especially nowadays, with friendships being rewarded with karma votes and the Vacation Alliance. Players should play to win the game, not make bad game decisions by bringing players who could easily win against you just because you like them. And really, in the end, it was a win-win for everyone. Sarah and Jordan won their first challenge season together. Later on, Sarah and Bananas would be one of the best duos to ever be assembled when they paired up on Rivals 3. Bananas had a reason to justify taking all the money at the end of season 28. It's actually funny re-watching that moment with him saying he doesn't know how many challenges he has left in him, when at the time of releasing this video, he's on location in Thailand playing in season 42. Sarah's move in season 26 may have cost her the money in Rivals 3. But it also capped off what I deemed the most complete game by a competitor on the challenge on their way to a win, having checked off every attribute through the course of a season. In the X's 2 reunion, Johnny Bananas talked about the ways he felt betrayed by Sarah and how much he was hurt.
But I considered you a friend.
Maybe he should have taken his own advice he gave Sarah back in season 18.
Somehow I made her cry. What did I say?
When you were like, you should know who your show friends are and who your real friends are.
I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who was watching this video, and if you're watching up to this point, I just want to say thank you again. What do you think about season 26 and Sarah's move? Do you think it's one of the best moves ever made in challenge history, or do you think it's overhyped? Let me know what you thought down in the comment section below. And I also want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.